Hey guys, so this is What If Spider-Man Was in Young Justice Part 10, man! And I am pumped for this one, like for real. I'm gonna be introducing like a big variety of cast of villains and also different Spider-Man themed characters in this story. Now, the next couple parts are mainly gonna be about Spider-Man's villains in this universe and their doppelgangers, but also for pretty much the entirety, like, Spider-Man's villains and their doppelgangers, stuff like that, yeah, right? So basically, for that whole thing, the first couple parts, like maybe like all the way up to like part maybe 15 or part 12 or 14, I'm gonna be mainly focusing on the villains of Spider-Man, and near the like end of season 2 of this What If, because this is season 2 of the What If, am going to be doing a little bit. I'm gonna be jumping into the Spider Verse, doing season 3 of this What If. So yeah, or near the end of season 2. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. Now, before I go any deeper, or actually start the video, I am determined to do a double upload, because yesterday, the last 2 days, I said I was going to do a double upload, and then I got preoccupied with, pretty much, well, summer and stuff like that. But I got time now. I got time. I'm going to be uploading today What If Wally West survived in Young Justice. Now, I have made other what ifs that have led to Wally surviving, like what if Benton was in Young Justice? Benton saved Wally from the whole entire speedster thing with the Speed Force, so he was able to save Wally, making pretty much leading to Wally not dying. But in this continuity, I am going to be focusing more on Wally, and I am going to be doing What If Wally Survived Young Justice. Now, I was going to do like What If Wally Was Faster, so I was going to redo the whole thing of season 1, but I'm just going to be doing What If Wally West Survived, aka just I'm going to be just changing that he can run faster and that he's just faster in this continuity. Now, other than that, I am also working on another Bell What If, and this is probably gonna be our last Bell What If it doesn't get enough views. I'm gonna be doing What If Bell, what if Bell had what if Bell, is it had spider powers, or what if Bell was a Green Lantern? Now I'm gonna be doing that. Also, I am gonna be uploading my stop motion today, or at least tomorrow morning, like near midnight or 12 p.m., something like that tomorrow, or uploading it tonight at 6 something. So I'm gonna be uploading it tonight. And if you guys, like, really guys, please go in the comments if you guys have like a Monday, like, I guess smart doctor type voice. Please hit me up, because I need a voice actor for Mr. Fantastic. Please just put your Instagram down below and I'll hit you up immediately, because I need it today. I really need the voice acting today. So as soon as I get your Instagram, I'm finna just hit you up with the script and just say your lines, okay? But yeah, other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And I also will be uploading my reaction video later this week, probably Friday or Sunday. On Saturday, I won't be uploading anything because I am going to chemo with a couple friends. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's just dive right into it. Enough talking. Let's get into it. Now, this is What If Spider-Man Was in Young Justice. Now, last time, a little recap of last time. Last What If, or last part of this, I did introduce that Oscorp was a canon thing in this universe. That, what was it? Dr. What was it? No, not. I forgot his name, like, for real. Osborn. Yeah, Osborn, I think. Yeah, Osborn. As Osborn would have pretty much, well, been canon in this universe, as he would have had his own Oscorp, and Oscorp would have been pretty much a contender, or pretty much a rival to LexCorp. It being basically just a better version of this continuity, or a rival to LexCorp. Also, it having something to do with the Katniss Project as well, meaning that the Katniss Project was halfway funded by LexCorp and also Oscorp. So basically, after that, we also got introduced to a doppelganger of, well, Gwen Stacy. This universe is Gwen Stacy, and Peter did, have set a date up with her, so he is going to have a type of ship for this What If. So he's gonna be, pretty much, well, kicking it with another multiverse version of Gwen Stacy and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm also gonna be introducing a couple more villains other than Green Goblin in this What If, but let's just dive right into it. Now, basically, we start our story off with a recap of last season, with season 1 being, finished with, as we get switched to the sewers in Gotham City, as we see that, well, they're chasing down, or Superboy is chasing down, well, pretty much Clayface. As Superboy is pretty much, well, cornered by Clayface and attacked by him by a quick little trick of luring and Superboy, as Superboy starts to be attacked and stuff like that, as eventually a couple other members of the team would have shown up, as it would have been a new cast of team members with pretty much a new Robin, aka Tim Drake Robin, tapping in or jumping in, and also a couple other members as well. As they would have froze Clayface with a little pill, as pretty much what was it? We've been introduced to Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, and also Tim Drake Robin, also Bumblebee as well. As Clayface would have been taken down pretty quickly, as the team would have been called in back to the base, as they also would have been, well, pretty much, was it accounted by, with Peter also being there as well, as Peter would have been there as well, basically just standing over top Clayface, using a little bit of his webbing to stop him in place for a quick amount of time, since Clayface would have been, oozing through his webbing, but they would have taken him down the same type of way, using freeze pellets. As we get switched back to Mount Justice, as we get introduced to more newer characters, like Lagoon Boy training with Robin, aka Moon Knight at this point. I mean, not Moon Knight, but Nightwing at this point. As Nightwing would have been training or sparring with Lagoon Boy, as the rest of the team would have shown up, being acquainted with Peter and the rest of the team. Now, Peter's suit would be different, actually, because multiple other members, their suits are different. Basically, well, Spidey's suit would have been way more different and way more advanced and, just overall better. He would have a suit similar to this suit, because I would change the thumbnail a little bit. So, as the suit would have been a complete replica or mirror of the PS4 Spider-Man suit, as it would have been, pretty much as a Young Justice art-style version of the PS4 Spider-Man suit. As Peter's suit would have been the same capabilities, would have had the same capabilities and power set as the PS4 Spider-Man suit, with all the tech and gadgets as well. So Spidey would have been a lot more, powerful in terms of his set of abilities. Now, since a couple years would have passed, a year would have passed since last season, some time has passed since season 1, as pretty much since last time season 1, we get a recap of Peter's life since, pretty much after the whole event would have happened, as Peter would have, started to full-time date, pretty much Gwen, as he would have, pretty much started up college as well, as he would have started to go to school in this universe, as he also would have started to date, pretty much Gwen, a full-time relationship, not full-time relationship, but actually, they would have started to date seriously, girlfriend and boyfriend at this point, as Peter would also became more of a bigger type character, him having also merch deals as well, and having pretty much, not outfits, but costumes, and basically pretty much toys and some TV shows, low budget TV shows based off of him. So basically, Peter would have became pretty big, like Superman or Batman, having his own merch, people wearing shirts with his logo on it. Now, Peter would have been a member of the, senior member of the team. Him also being a part of the team with Beast Boy, Nightwing, and the rest of everybody else. Now, we get switch to Bumblebee, talking to her boyfriend, blah, 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 stuff like that. We get introduced to our new characters, the story, and we also see that Megan is now dating Lagoon Boy, as Connor is kind of distraught about this. Now, me too. Now, basically, Peter would have been kind of confused about this as well, but he just would have brushed it off, as pretty much, Peter instead of Beetle or Blue Beetle would have told Beast Boy to get a bath, and basically just walked off. Now, what happened is we would get switched to New York City, as we would see that Lobo, the man, basically attacked the senator's office, I think, So he attacked pretty much the senator's office and went after one of the secretary of defense, and he would have straight up just murked the fool, as he would see that it was actually an android internal shell, or not external shell, as it would be an alien inside the human like body. Basically, it would be like a small little alien. Now, as they would have seen this all on camera, as Batgirl and Wonder Girl would have gone up against Lobo trying to take him down, but Lobo would have easily, straight up just dropped them. So after that, as Lobo would take the alien and basically just dip, taking the bounty for the alien, and just disappearing. As this would have happened, as he would have just driven off, as pretty much the camera footage would have gone live, and basically pretty much this universe's version of Jim Gordon would have been cracking up on pretty much Superman and Martian Manhunter about aliens and stuff like that, but also going in a conspiracy theory thinking that Spider-Man may be an alien. So pretty much him being kind of this universe's pretty much Jim Gordon, not Jim Gordon, but this universe's pretty much James Jonas Jameson. And honestly, it's kind of Peter was just overall just peed off at this dude because he kept on making statements against him, thinking he's an alien and stuff like that, saying he's a crime vigilante, some bull like that. But even though kids are wearing his shirts, and literally he has merch all around the world based off of him that kids are wearing to inspire hope and stuff like that, it's just overall just pissing Peter off. Now, basically, Peter just lets it go because, like Peter does in canon or in his universe, he just lets it go. He doesn't really hold a huge grudge against James John Jameson. Now, after this, we would get switched to the rest of the league, as they would have tried to still figure out what happened in those 14 hours they were gone in, season 1, as Vandal Savage was having them under control, or had them under mind control. As we get introduced to a couple more rounds of characters, as Santana, Rocket, Superboy, Megan, Nightwing, and Peter are all there. Now, as they're there, we get switched to pretty much them trying to figure out what's going on, as one of the doctors there would have told them that he found out a way to boom tube, as he would have gone to another planet, helping out that planet's scientists to try to figure out a type of boom tube technology, as pretty much that scientist would have been under, distress and would have been attacked, and he would have lost pretty much, communication with that planet. It would have been a whole type of different thing. Now, basically, as the team would have been told about this whole thing happening and they needed their help, as the team would have been told that they had the boom tube at the planet, and the planet would be called New Genesis, as they would have, pretty much said pretty good, I forgot, but mainly what happened is on New Genesis, we would see that, or on that planet, on a different planet, as the Justice League would have been fugitives to that planet, because under the control, as they were gone for hours, they would have been, pretty much, this is pretty simple, all Justice League members previously now, like current Justice League members, would have been, not allowed on that planet, as they would have been fugitives and they would have to clear their name, basically being, or attacking that planet a couple hours, pretty much doing that time. Now, as we get switched to Santana and Rocket and the rest of the team, psychically talking about the mission, but just saying that they had to go and do the mission. As they talk to the rest of the team, as Spidey and the rest of the team are there, as they are all told pretty much what's going on. As Spidey is excused and he has to take pretty much a voice call or a voice message from Gwen, as Gwen would have been talking to him or called him about pretty much a date they had set up that night, as Peter would have said that he had to take a little bit of a rain check on that, as Peter would have gone back into the pretty much talking room, or pretty much the main pretty much comm signal, or the comm room, basically going back in there and just waiting there, as they would have been told about their missions and their pretty much everything like that, like Team Beta, Alpha, stuff like that, as they all would have gone on a mission to figure out what was going on with the aliens, as Robin, Lagoon Boy, and Blue Beetle would have all went on their separate mission, all three of them, but Peter would have also been there as well. Him not going with the original couple members of his team, but basically Peter going with Lagoon Boy, Robin, and pretty much, Lagoon Boy, Robin, and Blue Beetle. And they would have gone into pretty much, the alien type base underneath a type of junkyard area in the water area, as they would have swum up there and they would have seen all the aliens, as it would be a hive mind. It would be hundreds of them with hundreds of tech and trying to pretty much make something, as they would soon be figured out or pretty much exposed because of the camera, as they all would have to fight and get out of there as quick as possible, as Peter would have been pretty much carrying most of the team alongside the help of Blue Beetle and Robin, as he would have been attacking against multiple members, or multiple aliens, not members, but multiple aliens, webbing them up and throwing web bombs left and right, swinging around and basically just kicking them around like, pretty much gnomes, just kicking and kicking and kicking. As eventually they would have been able to get out of there as quick as possible because Peter would have grabbed them and started to swing them out there as fast as possible. As Peter would have gone back in for the civilians, other than the rest of the team going in there, as Lagoon Boy would have came with Peter to help the civilians or the humans that were captured by the aliens and get them out there safely, as they would have gotten them out there safely, basically getting in there as quick as possible, eventually them dipping as the aliens would have set off pretty much, a type of self-destruct and blowing up the whole base. As soon the rest of the league would have shown up there, basically them being confused, as they would have all shown up there because they would have been late, but basically they would have taken out the aliens, and Robin would have been kind of proud of Tim. Basically, Peter just swimming around. As pretty much Robin would have said, "What happened, Peter?" Basically, Peter saying, the kid did good," as he would have looked at Tim. Now, as we can switch back to the rest of the team, aka Superboy, Beast Boy, and pretty much Megan. I was originally going to be Peter in this whole trip with Megan, Superboy, and pretty much Beast Boy, but for that continuity, he would be off Earth and he wouldn't be coming across his villains in particular. So it would be kind of confusing, and I wouldn't have enough time or space or creativity to introduce Spider-Man villains if he was off world. So basically, we switch away from Megan and Connor's story on New Genesis, and we get switched to Earth. After episode 2 of season 2, Earthlings. Basically, what would happen during this time, as we would get switched to Earth, as the team would have done their whole thing. Basically, season 2, episode 2 would have gone exactly the same. Nothing really changing too much. As we'll just skip over the whole episode. As the end of the episode would have switched back to Earth, as you would see Peter swinging around, basically going after some sort of villain. As we would see, it would be a glimpse of Peter being hit with some sort of bomb, him falling onto a roof, and looking over to some sort of man with purple boots, him having a wide shock in his eyes, him being very much afraid, confused, and overall angry. As we get switched off from there, as we get switched to episode 3. Now, normally I don't do 3 episodes, but I need to get that watch time in. I gotta get that watch time in, baby. So we get switched to Metropolis at Bobby's or Bibby's, I don't remember the name, of a type of steak and shake place. As we see that pretty much Jaimez and Beetle shows up there, basically tracking down some sort of alien, as an alien would have been taking the pretty much persona, not the persona, but the identity of one of the pretty much bartenders or the owner of the shop, as the alien would have dipped, just trying to get away from Blue Beetle and Beetle, as they would have chased him down, eventually trying to get closer and closer to him, eventually trying to get him, but he would have been able to get out of there. as the real owner of the bar would have knocked out the alien with a clean right hook. I mean, like he was absolute one, absolute unit in that minute. But as the alien would have popped out of the shell or the disguise of the man, as he would have dipped right into the vents and getting out of there as quick as possible. As Beetle would have been able to, Bumblebee would have been able to pretty much, well, hit him with a little blast on the shoulder, but it wouldn't really affect most of anything. As pretty much doing that, after that, we would get switched to him dipping and him meeting up with the alien, meeting up with, well, Black Manta. Now, after that, we get switched back to the team coming back, Connor, Megan, and Beast Boy coming back from New Genesis, basically telling Earth about the whole entire, new planet-like force field they put around the Earth to keep it away from pretty much alien invaders and stuff like that. As the team would have explained everything they found out on New Genesis and everything like that, the aliens and their motives here, and how or what pretty much the Justice League did while they were gone for those 16 hours off Earth. They basically just they basically just murked everybody, as their suspicions of this would have been real, because they would have had suspicions about this in this continuity, because of butterfly effect. They would have had suspicions about this earlier on, but we would have been told that it was true, that they went off the rails and they started a type of war. They were fugitives now. But as he would go and try to make things right, as they would have prepared to go to Ninjas. As we get switched to Young Justice Museum, not the Justice League Museum, as we see that they look at, different types of tools and museums and stuff like that, as they would have looked at some sort of type of, what was it? Looked at some sort of type of statues, magical statues, type of, I guess, a type of golems, as they would have had a whole big tour, stuff like that. And basically, as they were doing this, as we get switched to Megan and Connor interrogating one of the aliens, as Megan would have put one of the aliens in literal brain damage or turned it into a freaking vegetable to get the information, making the alien a drooly slob of a mess. As Connor would have been pissed off at this, saying, how could you do that? Him going out in his words, not keeping it to himself, actually going and talking to her, saying like why would you do that? Him saying it was wrong, Megan. Basically, her saying we got the information, didn't we? Her just pretty much mocking off at Connor and walking away from him, as Connor would have been even more put down and not really feeling Megan anymore, as Megan would have been kind of, let's just say in this season, she would have been very abusive of her powers, to put it simple. As the aliens would have been, talking about their mission and stuff like that, basically figuring out what they were building for him or Black Manta. But it would have been Black Manta. It would have been, well, Aqualad. As the rest of the team, like Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing, the Bat family basically, alongside Aqualad, I'm not Aqualad, but Lagoon Boy and Aquaman would have, pretty much dipped in there. Spidey also being there with the Bat family, as they would have flown in there with the Bioship. Basically, them making their, pretty much, well, what was it, sneak attack. Now, pretty much, well, they would have infiltrated the base as they were working on some sort of, planet-like device. Now, what would happen is, well, the Earthlings would have infiltrated, and they would eventually be, pretty much spotted, as Aqualad and Black Manta outfit would have been fighting against pretty much Aquaman, basically going up against him, and as they would have been fighting, pretty much Aqualad, basically, well, he would have eventually be taken down, or his mask or helmet would eventually get kicked off. Now, as he would eventually, revealed himself as being, well, Aqualad after a quick little fight, as pretty much, well, soon later on in the fight, as we see Connor and Superboy show up, as they would have been taking down multiple alien-like devices and pretty much, well, weapons. As more things would have gone down, basically them winning the fight by a long shot, as pretty much Peter would have been swinging around, webbing up aliens left and right, throwing them around like rag dolls, and kicking in pretty much robots, and pretty much swinging them up, kind of like Wonder Woman did with Wonder Girl, grabbing pretty much, well, one of the robot pretty much tracers or something like that, reminding Peter of the pretty much Spidey tracers or spider killers or hunters that he went up against in his continuity or in his universe, as he wouldn't figure out in his universe who made them, since pretty much, well, he did know it was from Oscorp, but not in this universe. But basically, the aliens would have dipped with the information they needed to continue their, building process, as they would have dipped Aqualad trying to get out there as quick as possible, but eventually they would have noticed it was Aqualad. Because I did say earlier that his helmet did get kicked off, but that was more of a foreshadowing. He didn't get his helmet kicked off before, well, pretty much, well, what was it? Lagoon Blake punched it off of his face, as Aqualad would have been revealed to be a traitor, as everybody would be confused, especially Peter. Peter asking what the heck is going on. Him trying to reason with Aqualad saying, "You're always a good friend, Peter, but you're always so stupid and arrogant." And the Spider Sense never really helped you in certain cases, as you would have clicked a button and it would have been a specific high-pitched frequency that would have been modified to specifically target Peter's Spider Sense for some inexplicable reason, as, well, Aqualad would have specifically engineered a certain type of, well, weapon against Peter, and it would have been disrupting Peter's Spider Sense and his extra senses, as in a reaction time and stuff like that, as Peter would have been pretty much busting out and his eardrums would have started to bleed, as his nose would have started to bleed, and pretty much part of his brain that made the Spider Sense, stinging would have been so bad that it would feel like a tumor. It would feel like somebody was stabbing the base of his brain with a fork, as he would have been falling down to the ground, yelling out in pain, basically freaking out, grabbing his ears, and trying to keep his head from pretty much blowing up or his mind from cracking, as Aqualad would have dipped, turning it off before, Peter died, as the device that was making this happen would have turned off. It would have been a type of speaker connected to one of the water ships nearby, as Superboy would have blown it up, as he would have helped up Peter, as Peter would have been knocked out, as Peter and the rest of the team would have gotten out there, Peter being carried out there before the bomb went off, as Superboy would have tried to figure out what was going on, as Robin would have tried to turn it off or try to at least, disrupt it, but it wouldn't happen very quickly, as Aqualad would have dipped, basically him getting out there as fast as possible, as the rest of the team would have tried to get out there as quick as possible, and after that, they would have left, and the place would have been blown to smithereens. As they would have left, we would see that Peter would have woke up a couple hours later in the hospital room in pretty much Mount Justice, a medical room, as he would have been wounding his ears, basically just being in the medical room, as he would have to find an excuse for Gwen. At this point, Gwen wouldn't know his secret identity, but later on, in probably like episode 5 or episode 6, she will know. Now, doing this, at the end of the season, we see that, well, the rest of the league is called to pretty much go and right their wrongs from when they were under control from Vandal Savage, and basically stop being fugitives and, well, pretty much right their names now, or right their wrongs, as they would leave off world to go to New Genesis to pretty much, well, save their name or clear their name. After that, as the Justice League would have left, I'm going to leave it off here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. I'm honestly just going to cut this outro short because I'm trying to eat. I just ordered pizza. Like, it's getting cold, so I'm going to dip. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces. Also, sorry for not introducing Green Goblin just yet, but pretty much in part 11, I am going all out. You're gonna be seeing so much Sinister Six stuff. I mean, so much Sinister Six stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. Before I just did an outro, but it's a little bit of a, future me. I've already written the script for part 11, and please, you gotta watch part 11. I don't care if you don't watch this one. Please watch part 11, because part 11 finna go crazy. I'm finna bring back Venom. I'm finna bring in Carnage. I'm finna go crazy. Sorry guys, I got sick. But see you guys later. Bye.